January 8th, 2020. We are seeing our vision even more clearly this year, 2020. Our quote for today is "Your Greater is Coming," said by Jacqueline Carr. It's one of my favorite songs, so I hope that you guys check it out and talk about what is greater coming in your year, 2020. Today we're going to be talking about fractions, everybody's favorite subject, right? Everybody loves fractions. Raise your hands if you like fractions. Yes, fractions is the best, right? It's like a slow raise, like, maybe. All right, so with fractions, there's some important words that you need to know, vocabulary that you need to know about fractions. Some of those words are what the top number is. What is the top number called?
Numerator.
Numerator, absolutely. Most of the time we get in the habit of just saying top number. What we need to start using the vocabulary that will be used on the GED testing and tape testing, right?
Yes.
So numerator. At the bottom, what do we have?
Denominator.
Absolutely. Denominator. A fraction in general, we're just talking about what a fraction is. We know numerator, we know denominator, we know we see that line, but a fraction in all reality, it just means that it's a piece of a whole, right? It's a piece of a whole. It's a piece of something. Think about a pizza, right? You take a pizza, you have 8 slices, you eat one of them, now you have 7/8 left, right? You ate 1/8. So that's what you can think about when you think about fractions. Numerator and denominator. Sometimes fractions also have a whole in front of it. Whenever you put a number in front of a fraction, that is called a mixed number. Mixed number. A mixed number still has your numerator and your denominator. However, in front of it, you're going to see something called a whole number. And this is a review, right? We know this part. This is just bringing us up back. We just came back to school, so we're getting back into it. So with the mixed number, you have a whole number, a numerator, and a denominator. One of the first things you learn what to do with math when you're talking computation math. Now, we're not talking about application, not actually applying what we learned yet. We're just talking about computation. So we're focusing on the numbers. You learn how to simplify them, right? So whenever I give you a fraction, for example, 2/4. On a test, this wouldn't be the answer to number 1. Why? Because it can be made simple form. Yes, it can be made smaller. In order to simplify a fraction, you have to have the greatest common factor. Whenever you talk about factor, we're now talking about the numbers that you use to multiply to get an answer. For example, for the number 4, what numbers can multiply to give us 4?
2
2 and 1.
2 times
2
2 and
4 times
4 times 1. That gives us 4. These numbers are called factors. So whenever you're looking at multiplication, the numbers that you use to multiply to get a product is called a factor. So in order to simplify this fraction 2/4, we need to find the greatest common factor. Greatest means
Bigger.
biggest, yes, bigger. So the biggest number, common means they both have it, and a factor is a number in multiplication, right? When you're multiplying. So in order to find the greatest common factor, what numbers multiply to give us 2?
2
2.
2 and what else?
1.
1 times 2, right? That's it. 2 is called a prime number, so that's all that you have, 1 and 2. What numbers multiply to give you 4? We wrote them down over here.
2 and 4.
1, 2, and 4. When we look at these factors, what is the greatest number they both have in common?
2
2. So in order to simplify this fraction, we'll have to take the number 2.
divide 4 and 2 and 2 and 2.
Absolutely. We would divide 2 by 2. What's 2 divided by 2?
1.
What's 4 divided by 2?
2.
Ooh, give yourselves a pat on the back. Yes, that's what you do. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's simplifying fractions. That's the very beginning, right, of fractions. Once you get past simplifying fractions, you then can start adding and subtracting them. Whenever you add and subtract fractions, if they already have the same denominator, you're good. You're only focusing on the numerators. For example, 1/3 plus 1/3. If the denominators are already the same, they stay the same. So we'll keep that as 3. What's 1 plus 1?
2.
Ooh, it don't get no easier than that, right? Alright, so we're subtracting fractions. 7/8 minus 1/8.
6/8.
6/8 all day, every day. 6/8. We were able to subtract straight across because at the top, the denominator is already the same. It's 8. So I can subtract 7 minus 1, which is 6. After I get that answer, on 2/3, I can't simplify because those are prime numbers. But 6/8, can I simplify that? What is the greatest common factor they have?
2.
2. What's 6 divided by 2?
3.
And what's 8 divided by 2?
4.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So our answer is 3/4. Now let's take it up a notch, right? Let's take it up a notch.